Well, I used a scleral tunnel, a 1.8 millimeter scleral tunnel, because I've always done topography pre and post-op on all my patients. I've been amazed at how much change you can induce by going through the clear cornea, even with a small incision. So I went back into the scleral tunnel because that was the only way I could have a truly astigmatically neutral incision. And I also thought that when I went to 1.8, the architecture wouldn't matter because it's so small. But I quickly learned that it did matter because I was, in the early days, getting problems with leaking and iris prolapse even with a 1.8, because I didn't maintain the original architecture. Now, when I make the incision, I make the same architecture of a groove, tunnel, and internal entry. Once I get that right, I get a really good incision. All cataract surgery, everything has to be out of the set, as it were. So the incision has to match the introducer for the implant and the tip of the phaco machine and the side ports and so on. So the incision has to allow the phaco tip in without leakage. It has to allow the implant in without damage and not induce astigmatism. So choosing the right knife is imperative. Previous metal blades suffered from not being sharp enough, and often they varied in their sharpness. So one might be a little easier to go in than another, and sometimes that meant I didn't have the control that I really needed to fashion exactly the correct tunnel. With the sharpness of this new knife, it's predictable and there's no resistance. I can tell the knife where to go rather than the knife tell me where it wants to go. And that's very important. Well, the theory behind the micro bevels is that it allows the wound to accommodate round instruments and thereby make it easier for the surgeon to introduce the phaco tip and the lens at the end of the surgery. Yes, very definitely. The blade is just perfectly sharp, so there's no resistance from the tissues, and it's easy for the surgeon to fashion the wound exactly as he or she wants it to be. The Clear Control 3D knife is exquisitely sharp, and it's controllable by the surgeon so that the surgeon can determine the shape and size and characteristics of the wound. With the other knives, that's not always the case.